How's it going? GJD here today, and we're going to make some spray hand sanitizer using the World Health Organization recipe. And what I seem to actually like about the spray hand sanitizer is the fact that I could spray it on things that I normally can't rub hand sanitizer. If I'm trying to re-sanitize a mask, I could spray the hand sanitizer on it and just let it evaporate. If I had the rub-on hand sanitizer, it doesn't really work so well with this. It's also kind of hard right now to get aloe vera. I wasn't able to find that. I was able to find glycerin, which is going to help for skin, so it doesn't dry out your skin. We're going to mix that in there today. I was able to find hydrogen peroxide, and unfortunately, I only had 70% isopropyl alcohol. Next time, I'm going to talk about how we could distill some of this to get a higher concentration of alcohol. Our goal here is to get a mixture of, my goal is at least 65% when everything is said and done. I'll tell you how to kind of calculate that. Although the recipe, they're looking for a little bit more, about 75%, but I'm going to have to work with what I have to deal with right now. So a couple of things that are easy to get and help us out here. I have some graduated cylinders. These plastic ones are super cheap off of Amazon. You can get a whole set. I need something that is going to hold my final volume. I picked a gallon jug, cleaned and sanitized, and it is the same plastic, number 2, high density polyethylene, as what the alcohol has in it. So I chose this because it's the same type of plastic, and I know that the chemicals aren't going to deteriorate it, that it might with some plastics. I don't really know the answer to that, but I know that these are the same, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. So according to the formula here, it wants us to use 715 milliliters of alcohol. I don't have 715 milliliters, so we're going to calculate that out for it to work. This is for a 10-liter jug, and what it does say that you should be using 90% alcohol. Well, this is 70% alcohol, which means 30% of this is water, distilled or sterilized water. And in this formula, if I add all these milliliters up, it comes out to about 8,000 milliliters. So they want me to just add about 2,000 milliliters or 20% in there. Anyway, is where they're getting that 80% ratio. So I'm not going to add any distilled water because I already have distilled water in here, and hoping that my final volume will come out to about 65, close to 70% alcohol. Next thing, this is 70%, and there's 946 milliliters in there. Because it's posted on there, that's the bare minimum. Let's go ahead and find out actually how much is in here and what the concentration of alcohol is. We'll pour this in here. And anytime you are going to have this sit in an open container for a period of time, keep it covered because the alcohol likes to evaporate fairly quickly, leaving a higher concentration of water in there. So I'm at about 900, yeah, right on point, 960 or so. So this was 946. I have about 916 here, so there is a little bit more. And I have an alcohol meter. I bought this off Amazon for about $6 or so. And on one side of this, careful, these are pretty delicate, I'll see the proof of alcohol, 200 proof, which is 100% alcohol, and on the other side it is the percentage. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this in and see what we got. Also, what's important to know is the actual temperature, because this is, the density changes as the temperature increases, and this is calibrated to work at 60 degrees. And right now I'm reading a percentage, which is good, of a little bit higher. Yeah, this is great. This is 75% at 59 degrees. So that's right on point. There's really not much correction for 1 degree. I always like to take a double measurement with another tool just to make sure that my temperature is right. And this is saying, I leave it in there long enough. So we're right around 60 degrees. That should do it. Okay, so what I really need to write down is how much I'm actually using. So just to verify, I have 960 milliliters of alcohol. I'm going to pour that, all of it, directly into my jug and cover it so I don't have any evaporation issues. Okay, the next step is do a little bit of math. If 7,515 milliliters is what we need if we were making 10 liters, I'm going to multiply that by X, that's my scaling factor, to equal what I actually have, which is 960. So I'm going to write down 960, divide both sides by 7,515. I'm really just solving for X. So 7,515 times what equals 960, and that will be my scaling factor. Let me type that in the old calculator. 960 divided by 7,515 equals 0.128. X equals 0.128. So whatever my volumes are for the last two ingredients, I need to multiply them by 0.128 to get my actual quantities. So it says 417 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide. I'm going to take that 417 and multiply it by my scaling factor of 0.128. So instead, I need 53.3 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide. The hydrogen peroxide is in there to kill any bacteria that might generate some spores in the mixture, and that'll help it lasting a little bit longer. Okay, I need about 53 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide, so I'm going to use the small graduated cylinder for that. Now add that to my mixture. And close that so we don't have any evaporation. Last thing I'll add is the glycerol, or glycerin is a substitute for that. It's just not quite as pure, but it has the same concentrations in it as recommended. Now this is 145 milliliters, so I'll take that 145 milliliters and multiply it by my scaling factor of 0.128. I actually need 18.5 milliliters. For smaller concentrations of that, you could get away with these little syringes that are used for medicine, children's medicine. You'll get these free when you buy some child medicine. This also works. That comes with medicine as well. Or you could buy them actually at a Rite Aid or a CVS. So I need 18 milliliters. I am going to use this one. This is a little bit larger syringe that I do have available. It goes up to 30. So I'm looking for 18. And I'm actually going to use this to withdraw from, because I can't get my syringe inside here. Okay. So I'm going to have to fill this more than once. And this is pretty thick, so it takes a little bit longer to draw itself into the syringe. That's going to take a little time. So I do have a little bit of an air pocket in there, but I'm not concerned about getting rid of that because I'm filled right to the 18 and a little bit more. So I'm right about 18.5, and I'm happy with that. I'm going to take that and add that to the mixture. And mix that around pretty well. And that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to calculate how much percentage of alcohol total is in that volume. I don't like doing it with the alcohol meter because now I have some fluids in there that are of different densities. I have the glycerol, which is super thick, and I have the hydrogen peroxide. I'm not even sure if that's less dense or more dense than alcohol or water in itself. So I'm going to calculate the actual percentage of alcohol that's in there. So we originally had 960 milliliters of the alcohol concentration, but it was, when we measured it, it was 75%. So I multiplied that by 0.75, and there's a total of pure alcohol in this mixture of 720 milliliters. Now I'm going to add everything that I put in to figure out the total volume and figure out the percentage of 720. So our total volume of everything that's in there, including 960 milliliters of alcohol, 53 of peroxide, 18.5 of glycerol, comes out to 1,032. And of that 1,032, 720 milliliters is pure alcohol. If I divide that by the total volume, I actually get a ratio of 69% pure alcohol. And the goal was they were shooting somewhere between 70 to 80% of pure alcohol. The CDC recommends a minimum of 65% in hand sanitizer. So I'm actually happy with that 69%. This commercial spray hand sanitizer made by Suave actually has 65% alcohol by volume in it. So with a ratio of 69%, I'm happy with those results. And just to confirm, I put our finished total mixture back into the graduated cylinder, and it is reading exactly according to our calculations, just below 70 at about 69% total alcohol in our mixture. The last step is to put it in some type of container. Spray bottle, these you could buy on Amazon. They're pretty cheap. Make sure you label what it is, or you could just put it in an actual cleaned out regular spray bottle to sanitize. And I have a mixture I've made before. You can spray on your hands, rub it in, and you're good to go. Thanks for watching. Next time, I'm going to actually show you how to distill different alcohol products to increase the percentage of alcohol in whatever you're making.